What's going on, guys? Tomcat here, and today I have another Showdown video for you guys that got a bunch of upvotes in the comment section of my last Showdown video. This is the Honda NSX-R GT versus the Lamborghini Diablo SV. I had a ton of fun making this battle, and before I get any further into it, I want to give a huge shout out to Turn 10 themselves for getting in touch with me, because there's going to be... all I can tell you right now, guys, is keep your eyes on the Forza website, because Turn 10 contacted me, and it's leading to some pretty awesome stuff. So again, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to the people over at Turn 10. There's some amazing people, and I really, really, really appreciate it, guys, at Turn 10, if you guys are watching. Now, to the video. The Honda NSX-R GT is going to be our first car that we use for the speed run, and basically, the interesting thing about this car is that, obviously, since it's a Honda, it has VTEC, but also, it's very, very, very easy to get off the line. I mean, it's a light car at 2,595 pounds. I mean, it's not as light as some other cars, and yes, I know I'm rewinding, but what else are you going to do if you smash right into the back of a Prius? I mean, if you smash right into the back of a Prius in Forza Horizon, you celebrate, because Priuses kind of deserve to be smashed, but different topic. Yeah, car pulled pretty well. It definitely was not... I will admit it wasn't as fast as I expected it to be, since I've never driven this particular car before. I was expecting it to be a little faster, but then when I actually kind of thought about it and went over it in my mind, it kind of came to me that this isn't a supercar about top speed. It's not about being able to say, "Oh, my car has a faster top speed than yours. I challenge you to a race." It's not about that kind of thing. It's more like a Lotus. It's more for the type of people that like to enjoy a car on a twisty, windy mountain road. Now, that's not to say that the NSX is a slow car, because it's definitely not a slow car. And while we're actually on the subject of going down the highway, listen to that engine. It sounds really good. At least I think it does. But especially when it's in the VTEC zone. But anyway, the NSX has always been made for the crowd that likes to enjoy their cars on twisty mountain roads and twisty racetracks. It's never been that much of a straight line kind of a car. And I like that. I like cars that aren't all about straight line performance. I like a car to be balanced. That's why obviously one of my favorite supercars of all time is the Ferrari 458 Italia, because that's an amazingly balanced car. And to be honest, the NSX felt a lot like the 458 Italia. It didn't feel as modern or as refined, but it sort of felt like it felt like an ancestor to the 458 Italia, which is kind of interesting in how the NSX feels like the older brother to one of the best handling mid-engine cars of all time, the Ferrari 458. Now, drifting. The NSX isn't really a drift car. Some of you might be wondering, why is drifting even in this comparison? Why are you even drifting an NSX? Well, because I want to. Get over it. But no, the NSX is actually, it slides. It doesn't drift. It slides. It's not a power drifter. You don't, throw it into a corner and slam on the gas and power it out like you would in an M3 or a C63 AMG Black Series. But it's very smooth, and if you pull the e-brake at the right time and maintain your steering angle, you can get these really, really nice, graceful slides through the corners, and it actually makes the car very precise to drive. Like, watch this here. Very close to that M6, very close to that other traffic car as well. Managed to get out of that without any sort of crash, and that just goes to show you how much control you can have with an NSX. And maybe if you upgraded it, or maybe even maxed it out, maybe you could drift with it, and you could use that balance to your advantage. So, all in all, I enjoyed drifting the NSX. And again, it was more sliding than drifting, but still a very stable car. Now for our sound test. beastly sound from that V6. Absolutely awesome sound. Now, we are in the Lamborghini Diablo SV. Now, launching the Diablo SV is also not very difficult because it's a mid-engine car. The weight is in the right place for a supercar. It's a great balance. The way the car feels is very good. It's very familiar. If you've ever driven a Lamborghini before in Forza, it's a very familiar experience because Lamborghinis always have that similar type of balance. You know, you could get into a car that's just a shell with no body panels on it. If it was a Lamborghini, you would be able to tell that it was a Lamborghini, even if it didn't have a Lamborghini body or a Lamborghini badge. You'd be able to tell it was a Lamborghini. And did I mention how good that 5.7 liter V12 sounds? Yeah, it's good. It's really good. We topped out on the first run at 180 miles per hour. Definitely a respectable top speed for a stock A-class car. And you got to remember, the Diablo SV came out in 1997, and back in 1997, 180 miles per hour was pretty good for a supercar. It was definitely good enough for a flagship car like the Diablo SV. Now, nowadays, the big number is 200, right? You know, everybody is always shooting for 200, and, you know, kind of to be a member of the supercar crowd nowadays, you have to be able to go at least 200 miles an hour. Now, some cars have like a limited 199, but at that point, I don't even care. I just round it up to 200 miles an hour because, for example, the SLS AMG is actually capped at 199 miles an hour, but when you're going 199 miles an hour, it's close enough to say you've been 200, right? I mean, if you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments below if you would, if you got the chance to go 199 miles an hour, would you tell people that you went 200, or would you tell people that you went 199? I'd tell people that I went 200 because it's close enough, at least in my opinion. Now for the drifting. And again, you wouldn't really expect the Diablo SV, a mid-engine supercar, to be that good at drifting. But you know what? It is. It can power drift. You can power drift a stock Diablo SV. 530 horsepower, 446 foot-pounds of torque. It works. It really does. It actually works. And I seriously think that if you were to upgrade this thing all the way and max it out, give it all the power you wanted, maybe not even that, maybe you could do it with less, you could have a legit drift car on your hands. You could have a legit mid-engine drift car on your hands that sounds great, looks great, has a great background to it. You know, the Diablo is a really deep model family. You know, you got the Diablo, you got the base Diablo, the Diablo SV, the Diablo VT, which VT stands for viscous traction, which is Lamborghini's all-wheel drive system, which has been used also in the Lamborghini Gallardo. And of course, also you have different versions of the Diablo, like the rare Diablo Roadster, which Diablo Roadsters they're very, very, very rare. And if you see one, you're lucky. I actually saw on a website for a dealership called Cat's Exotics. It's a small dealership, but they sell cars, exotic cars, to places all over the world. And I saw a listing on that site for an actual Diablo Roadster. It's not on there anymore, but it was a red 6-speed manual Diablo Roadster, and oh my god, that thing was gorgeous, dude. That thing was amazing. But if I was going to choose which Diablo to buy, I would have an SV. Now for the sound clip. Now we're on to our sprint. Now you may notice that we're on a different track, different course than we normally are, and you also might notice that there are other cars on the track. Now, I was originally going to do it the normal way, but my Xbox Live connection was being absolutely horrible, and I wasn't able to connect to Xbox Live, and every time I would get on Xbox Live to try and actually host a multiplayer lobby to record these in, I would disconnect immediately. So what I did was I decided to run the sprints in a single-player street race. Now, you may be saying, oh, well, that's not fair because you got other cars on the road, you got other cars you're racing against, and while that's true, it's actually, it doesn't make as big of a deal as you think, because if you pass all the cars right up, you know, in the start of the race, it's not going to make much difference. The faster car is still going to be the faster car, and it's not going to give either one a greater advantage. And I made sure of that by running these races multiple times. So basically, it was not all about the time. Also, I wanted to do it this way because I wanted to see how the cars did in an actual race, you know, how they felt when they were around other cars. Now, the Diablo SV absolutely destroyed everything else. It just absolutely slammed everything else in this race, and I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised because it's a V12 Lambo. Now, it managed a 1-minute 33.0. So now we're on to the Honda NSX-R GT. Now, again, the Honda NSX-R GT was easier to get off the line, but as you can see, it definitely doesn't have the same amount of acceleration power as the Lamborghini has, because everybody else was pulling away. When I was in the Lambo, I was definitely pulling on the other drivers. When I'm in this, you don't get anywhere near as much pull, obviously because you don't have anywhere near as much horsepower or torque. But still, it almost seems like without upgrades, the NSX-R GT is at quite a disadvantage when you're when you're trying to race it against other drivers. And you'll actually see in just a minute how I have trouble getting up behind and passing the guy in this Alpha 8C on the straightaways, just because he's as fast or just that little bit faster than my NSX-R GT. And in fact, this is the actual straightaway where you can see he just keeps pulling and just keeps pulling slightly, and then when he hits the top of his power band, he starts to pull away. And I was surprised about that because I have VTEC in this, but I guess V8 beat VTEC on this occasion. So if you guys enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to hit that like button. Tell me in the comments section below which car was your favorite. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. My personal winner from this challenge was the Diablo SV, and the NSX-R GT managed a 1-minute 36.6. I will see you guys in the next one.